Hello, welcome back to Rubbin Minds. My name is still JJ Omojua. I have Elvina Ibru in the house. Writer, author, actress, entrepreneur, idols, West Africa. You've been everything. You're doing everything. Welcome on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
So I don't know where to start, but let me start from the beginning. You have a very, very interesting background, and people from your background don't often find themselves doing what you started out doing, which was acting, stage play. How did that happen?
I think it was my mom's fault.
Fault?
Yes, it was my mom's fault. Partly my mom, partly my dad. Because even though my father was a businessman, he loved the entertainment business. And I think it was in 1977, I believe that the company, the organization, sponsored Ipitombi. I don't know if you remember that. It was, I'll show you my age. It was a huge show from South Africa, you know, like one of the biggest shows. It toured the entire world. You know, it was in the West End and so on and so forth. So during Festac, 77, the Ibru organization brought in Ipitombi, and that was it. My mother took us to the theater, the National Theater at the time, to watch it. And we were sitting, you know, near the front. And my middle name is Baby. My name is Elvina, Baby Ibru. And there's a song in Ipitombi that it goes, baby, baby, I love you forever. And I was already fascinated. But then when they started singing that song, I said, they're singing to me.
That was it.
This is me. And that was it. I mean, I didn't make up my mind then that I wanted to be an actor, but I knew that I someday wanted to do what these people were doing. You know.
And that's interesting because, I mean, then if there was Nollywood, there definitely was no wood in it. There was no glamour in being an actress.
You know, in fact, in those days, if you were an actress, you were castigated, you know.
So did you like have something else you were doing apart from acting?
No, I mean, I went to school. I went to primary school. In fact, from primary school, I'd already started acting because I was at Corona, Victoria Island. You know, in those days, they had like Kiddies Junction and Tales by Moonlight, and they would go to schools and pick out children they felt were gifted. So even from that age, I already had my little stints on TV. And then by the time I got to school in England, my mom enrolled me for theater, well, drama classes, elocution lessons, things like that. And then I fell completely and totally in love. But I didn't make up my mind to be an actor until I was 17. Yeah.
You've been very, very consistent, especially talking about the stage part of it. And I don't think that's the part that a lot of people think about when they say they want to be actors or actresses. What's the catch for you? Why do you still continue to be committed to stage plays?
Well, that's where my training came from. You know, I was always on stage. I went to theater school in England, but even before theater, you know, there's a very strong culture for theater in boarding schools in England. I don't know what it's like in boarding schools here, but they take the arts very seriously because they realize there are some children that are good at sciences, some are good at arts, some are good at sports, and they try and home in on any talents that they can. You know, they're always looking for prodigies. So in my case, I took elocution classes and I got very high marks for my age, and my teacher took an interest in me, and she came from a theater background. So she kind of pushed me in that direction, more stage than film. And then when you do stage, you realize it's such a disciplined form. I mean, there's so many things that come with being a stage actor. You know, you talk about timekeeping. You know, I was told to be here today at a certain time. I was here an hour before. Yeah, you know, things like that. You know, you get really disciplined in every aspect, almost every aspect of your life. And there's something about it, it's called a bug. If you've caught it, you've caught it. It's an incurable disease.
How do you spread this disease? Because when people look at people like you, they see bling Lagosians. They want to be part of that glamour of Nollywood and the stars and the glitz. How do we make stage more as appealing as film? How do we spread this particular disease?
Well, I think the more you do
especially for young people.
Yes. I think you have to tell stories that appeal to people. Like I always say to you know, parents that want their children to go into theater or they want them to be attracted to theater. If you take your child the first time you're taking her to the theater to watch The Tempest by Shakespeare, I don't think the child is going to be interested in going back. But if you take the child to watch something like The Sound of Music, or you know, the musical version of Tales by Moonlight in Nigeria, for instance, then it's something exciting that the child remembers. Like me and Ipitombi, there was lots of singing, lots of dancing. So if you tell stories that are relatable and stories that everyone from the age of 40 to 84 understand and enjoy, people will go to the theater. I mean, Bolanle Austin Peters is doing it. Ifeoma Fafuwa is doing it. Edgar, Duke of Shomolu is doing it. So, you know, theater is getting back to what it used to be in Nigeria, because it used to be big back in the days.
And speaking about Ifeoma Fafuwa, you're part of a Hereward cast.
Yes.
And
yes.
it has some very interesting themes.
Yes.
Sisterhood,
yes.
violence against women. Yes. You are a survivor yourself.
I am, yes, I am. You know, the play talks about different topics, things that women generally face everywhere in the world, like rape, like child molestation. And then it also talks about stuff that is indigenous to Nigeria, or things that people abroad have not heard of before, i.e., I play a character where my husband offers me to his friend. You know, an important friend comes and he offers me to his friend. Initially offered my daughter. I lied that she was sick, and he goes, well, then you must go. With my own personal experience, I've been raped before, and I never kept it a secret. For some reason, I never felt that I should keep it a secret, because when you keep it a secret, it's as if it's your fault. And this is what society always makes women feel. When you get raped, you are the victim, and then society makes you feel as if your rapist is the victim. It's very strange, but it's true.
How do we reshape the society to stop looking at loopholes when women come out, or even those that are not men that were also raped? How do we shape society?
Yeah, exactly, because men also, this is a very important issue. I'm glad you brought that up, because every day men are getting raped. And people say, how can a man get raped? You know, men do get raped, and it's in this country, particularly from a very young age, most of the men I know actually lost their virginity underage, 7, 8. Some house girl or one auntie or one teacher or one something was the first person that, you know, fondled them in the bath, or, you know, someone that they were trusted with. So it's an issue that we need to understand, that men are getting raped as well. As far as changing the direction of things, it starts for me with opening up and saying that I am not ashamed, it was not my fault, and no means no. While we've been doing Hereward, we have had so many revelations. A young boy came up to us and said he thought it was normal to rape girls, because that was part of his initiation to be part of the correct genge gang when he was in secondary school, not even university. If you hadn't raped a girl, you couldn't be part of the cool gang. You know what I mean? So even the way we raise our children, I'm not saying his mother raised him to go and rape women, but most women will raise their men to be like, you know, be a trophy winner. You know, go. You know, by the time he's 18, he doesn't have a girlfriend.
Is there a role for film to shape this?
Of course. I mean, film is a strong messenger, you know, and theater too. You pass messages through film. Like, I mean, bling Lagosians that everyone's talking about. A lot of people didn't know that people that live this kind of lifestyle behave this way. You know, what's really going on behind? There are a lot of messages to be passed in that movie. So, in fact, it is very important to tell important stories in movies. Our stories.
There's a particular thing that you did that I've always been excited about, but it stopped happening. Idols West Africa, so probably the biggest series on TV at the time.
Yes, yes.
We got Timi Dakolo from there.
Yes.
We got Omawumi.
Yes.
Any
Jody.
plans for?
No, I don't like talking about idols too much, as in what happened, because it's what's the word for it? It's got a lot to do with contracts and all that kind of stuff. There was an issue between the holders of the franchise, because I did it in collaboration with the holders and the broadcasters. Let's just leave it at that. It's unfortunate that there wasn't more than one season, because it was huge. but they couldn't resolve their differences. And so it was sold to another company as Idols, Nigerian Idols. You know, ours was Idols West Africa. So it was sold to another company as Nigerian Idols. And then the broadcasters did another music show. And
you don't have as much powers to make all of that happen again, but you run twice as nice.
I do.
What should you expect?
Unfortunately, I don't have the power because I'm not the owners of the farm. I'm not Fremantle. I wish I was.
So what should you expect from Twice as Nice?
Well, Twice as Nice. We have a film called Pillars of Africa that should be released next year, first quarter of next year. Elvina, well, there's a short film coming up as well. From me, I have a couple of projects we're off to Edinburgh. Hear what is off to Edinburgh. When I come back, I'm going into rehearsals for Emota. That's going to be produced by the Duke of Shomolu. And then there's also a Nollywood Bollywood merger.
Sounds sweet.
That's happening soon. I'm really looking forward to that. So that's all going to be like the end of this year and then the first quarter of next year.
I like the sound of Nollywood Bollywood merger. In the music scene, there's been a lot of international collaborations. We kind of even take you for granted now. Chris Brown, Davido, Wizkid, Drake, Beyonce, an entire album almost dedicated to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Should we expect something like that for Nollywood in the coming years?
I don't see why not. I mean, we watch a lot of films from Bollywood, like I just mentioned. There's a lot from like the Mexican, South American side of things, and of course Hollywood as well. I don't see why there shouldn't be a merger in any of those areas, you know? Why not, if not?
Let's talk about women in Nollywood. I've seen people talk about the fact that especially the relatively new actors, they're bling, they're shining, but they're like, but what's funding their lifestyle?
I don't know. I can speak for myself. I can't speak for everybody else. But I can tell you that I think the most disillusioned thing for entertainers generally, or many actors, because musicians that are up there, they're doing pretty well. The most disillusioned idea is that actors have a lot of money or they get paid. I mean, when I hear the figures, people think I got paid for bling. I just start laughing. You know, as an actor, you do need, you know, to make ends meet with other things. But then it depends on your grade, because you can get great endorsement deals, you know, and money comes in from there. And it's not that our producers don't want to pay. It's simply because of the conditions under which we work. We don't have the $200 million
Is that a problem with the
budgets.
structure of the industry?
Of course. I mean, you can't compare our budgets to the Hollywood budgets. You know, we put a film together. If you use 50 million naira here to do film, that, I mean, you don't hit. That is it. You know, game over, as in you're on the top of your game. 50 million naira is what? It's chicken. It's not even a low budget movie in Hollywood is nowadays probably about between $5 and $10 million. That's a low budget movie. So, you know, our infrastructure, the respect for the business from the government, because by now, if the government doesn't know that movies are doing something for Nigeria, then they must be sleeping.
Where does that place, you know, the Asaba movies, piracy, people shooting and expecting to go to cinemas, even though the standards are not up to cinema standard?
Well, one of the problems we have is distribution. There's piracy everywhere. There's piracy. There's Germany, England, China, Baba. You know, there's piracy everywhere, but unfortunately, we don't have strong distribution, and we don't have, I keep saying, we don't have a huge middle class in Nigeria. We're either very rich or very poor. But the people that really enjoy movie going, if you check it out, really, those middle class people that every weekend they want to take their babe or their wife and their kids to go and watch a movie, and they can afford to. It's comfortable. But here, it's either you're up there and maybe you don't even go to... Most of the really, really high-class people that I've spoken to, and I've said, have you gone to watch it? They say, when is it coming out on Netflix? They can't even be bothered to go to the cinema, or when's the private screening? When will you invite me? Then the lower-class people are saying, 2,500 naira to go and watch one film. They will never buy popcorn, never, you know what I mean? And they will never pay for our babe or our children. So there's no like comfortable, the middle, they're there, but they're not plenty.
You mentioned Netflix. Do you see it as a new opportunity or as an extra layer beyond having movies in the cinemas? You know, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and the likes.
Amazon, yeah. I do, but I also think it would be nicer if we had more of a cinema-going country.
Cinema culture.
Because it then brings money into our own pockets. True. Netflix be Ibru, Amazon be Ibru. At the end of the day, now they still collect the money. We have to do the hard work and pay back ourselves, you know. Now we're doing great movies. Our movies are getting better and better. And the Netflix and the Amazons are looking for us more and more. So how do we reward ourselves with our hard work rather than working hard and rewarding others with it?
Elvina, you have your hands in many pies. And a young person is looking at you and they're like really feeling you and they want to be like you. But if this person was really interested in paying their bills, which of those things should they be more interested in? You as a writer, you as an entrepreneur, you as the cultural leader, you as the actress, I don't know the other things.
Well, what brings in the tomato
that would help them pay their bills.
And onions. That's a good question. I've not been asked that before because I've not really thought about it. I think this is a country of entrepreneurship. You know, yes, you can go to school, you can get a degree and all the rest of it. But then when you leave school, can you get a job that will bring in, you know, what you need monthly? If you can, it's great. Because I remember when I was working for Classic FM, it was great that every 28th of the month, I would look in my account and I would know that come rain or come shine, this amount is going to be there. But if not, in my case, I believe that it's probably my production and managerial skills that bring in the most money. A lot of people come to me for consultation. How do we do this? How do we go about that? How do we get a production together? So I think it's, for me, it's more production than performance, even though I prefer performance to production.
So I guess the managerial side of it.
Yeah, I mean, the knowledge, you know, I think Nigeria is getting to the point now where they're appreciating knowledge.
Intellectual
so
power.
People are now ready to pay you for in those days, we're not, if you can't help me with this thing, I won't do them. You know, and it's like, you're my sister, or you're not even my sister, but I know you know.
I like your tattoos and your piercings. And, you know, going by some recent postings on social media that sort of reflected the perception of a particular generation of Nigerians to things like this. Have you ever suffered any form of discrimination?
A few people have said, why did you tattoo your body? Why did you spoil your temple and all that kind of stuff, you know? But then you don't take note of what people say because you have to act according to what your spirit is telling you. And if my spirit is telling me they like me to draw tattoo on my body,
you do it.
That's what I'm going to do, especially if it's not bringing harm to anyone, you know.
You're very inspiring. The other day, last Sunday, you were at the house. We met for the first time, actually, at Juliet Ibrahim's book launch. You're always coming through for people in the industry. You're not so old, but you're like a mother to all these other young people.
I'm old, though.
I mean, you're 72, 77?
72, I'm 47.
I don't think you're old.
Oh,
you're too cool for old. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go on a short break. When we're back, we'll speak to someone making change in education.